Packed up camp nice and early this morning. So cold. It wasn't too bad when I went to bed. Then that cold just came in during the night and the early hours this morning. It was freezing. We're just surrounded by this massive fog as well, so you can't see anything. And then the plan today is to head up over Mt Pinnibar. But we figured we'd get out of that area before everyone gets up and head up along the track a bit, get a bit of a head start. I'd say it'd be pretty busy today. You come maybe 10-15 minutes up along the Tom Groggin track, and then you just turn right onto the Pinnibar track, and only a few minutes, 5 minutes down there, we stopped on this creek here and have a bit of brekkie. And then not too much further along here, we turn left and we start heading up the climb. We did this track about 16 months ago, Christmas, not the Christmas just gone, but the Christmas before. And it's such an amazing track. Like as you're heading along the ridgeline, you just get these awesome views out all around you. It'll be one of my favourite tracks in the high country. We'll cook up a bit of brekkie here and then we'll head off. I'm just going to let a bit more air out of these tyres. I did have them about 24, 25, but we're about to start climbing up the Mt Pinnibar track soon, so I'm going to put them down to say 16. Mt Pinnibar track would definitely be one of my favourite high country tracks. It's just got it all. Awesome low range 4-wheel driving without being too hard, but a nice challenge, and just some amazing views. It's a long climb all the way up to the top from down the bottom near the Murray River. You end up at nearly 1800 metres up above sea level, and the track just keeps going up and up and up. The first maybe half or 2/3 of the track is cruising, climbing up the mountains through the bush. In the dry, the track isn't too bad, but definitely in the wet, I'd say it'd get quite slippery out there and much more challenging. I probably would avoid it in the wet. You got some of those red clay rutted out sections, and I could just imagine how slippery it would be in the wet. All this steep hill driving, you can just crawl it, first gear low range, let your car idle up, a little bit of acceleration. You see a lot of people think they need to hit these things with speed, second gear low range, use speed and power. Most of the time, don't need to do that. It's just rough on your car and higher risk of breaking things. You can see here the track is starting to get quite chewed up in a few places. Those holes and ruts are getting deeper and deeper that you do need to navigate. It was a good thing we did leave early. We only passed one other 4-wheel drive coming down this track as we were going up, which meant I was able to film everything and not get in people's way. Such an awesome drive all the way up through the bush. Just gets steeper and steeper the further up you go. It's definitely more chewed out since we did it last time. But it's a good fun drive. A little bit of a challenge. Nothing too extreme. We're nearly out of the bush, and then we'll get that ridgeline drive across the top. Just that spectacular views. I'm puffed. I need a cameraman to run this camera around for me, running up and down these hills. few more challenging sections as you come up near the top there. The track definitely is starting to deteriorate a bit, but this is where those views really become amazing. Just those spectacular views all out around you. Once you reach that open ridge line, you continue to climb up and up, another maybe 3 or 4 k's, and then you hit right up the top there, the Mt Pinnibar summit. It's hard to beat those views you get the last few k's up to the top. Absolutely amazing place up the top of that Mt Pinnibar there. The views, just 360-degree views all around you. You can see back Mount Kosciuszko, all the mountain ranges. There's so many people up there. When we went up, there was only one other car. By the time I got out of my car, another group had just like come up behind, and then another group came from that Shady Creek upper track, and there was about like 15 cars up there at one stage, motorbikes. It was insane. That's how we came this morning up this Mt Pinnibar track, and we're right up the peak now. Last time we went down this Shady Creek upper track into here, but I think we might go back that couple k's and then come along here up to this Mt Gibbo, because I've never been up there, so we might do that. Now, as I said, I've done that drive before all the way up to the top of Mt Pinnibar from down at Tom Groggin, but last time we went off a different way. This time we decided to head towards Mt Gibbo, so this was all new to me. I hadn't done it before. And this turned out to be another awesome high country track and drive. A few challenging sections, nothing too hard, but once again, amazing scenery and ridgeline views. Making our way along this Mt Gibbo track now up towards Mt Gibbo. You can see it way up there. Just another spectacular ridgeline track. Amazing views. These hills are too big. The car's all the way back down there. I just ran the camera up the top. Now I gotta go back and get the car. Oh. Besides being a little bit dusty, we just had perfect autumn weather that day. Warm, sunny and clear, you could see all around you. Arrived up the top of Mount Anderson. How high is it, Kai? What's that say? We're following that Gibbo track. We're just hit Mount Anderson. We're going to stop here and have lunch because we've got the spot to ourselves up here. Whereas if you look up There's Mt Gibbo, and there was a line of cars going up and down there before. You probably can't, you can see a couple coming down there now. It's a bit hard to see on the camera, but there's about 10 cars up the top there. Track wasn't too bad coming here. We passed one group of 6 and one group of 3. But spectacular. Tracks haven't been anything too extreme. Some steep hill climbs, pretty rough and rocky, but all good. Car's going good. I had a bit of work done to it before this trip actually. The bearing in the water pump let go. It's got a new water pump in it, and they put new belts in it too. New fan, alternator, water pump belts. Making our way to the final part of this climb at the top of Mt Gibbo now. These views are just incredible. Kind of got jammed between a couple of groups of 4-wheel drives there. You see the track all the way down there. There's my car. Here's another car here, which I'd say has busted something on this bit. There's a pretty hectic bit here to finish up the top. This may get interesting. We'll see how we go. We didn't worry about stopping up at that Mt Gibbo. The traffic up there was insane. You couldn't even get a spot. You know, it wasn't, I don't know, it was like a car park up there. There was, I don't know, there's a dozen cars up there, but just not much room. There was nowhere to stop. We just came straight back down off the other side. Tensions were a little bit high up there over the radio. There was a group of 9 trying to get down off the mountain, and they had people kept coming up against them. Oh, here comes some more cars now. It's just there's just traffic everywhere here. You have to keep pulling off the side of the road. Like on the way up to that Mt Gibbo, we passed a group of 7, a group of 3, a group of 4 came up behind us, then another group of 4 came up behind us, and I was kind of jammed between 2 groups. As I was letting one group overtake, another group came up behind me. The cars there out at Mt Gibbo have just passed another 4 now coming down, another couple come along here now. But yeah, it's all good. We're still having a good time. Let's try and find some camp tonight.
That's 22 cars. 22 cars.
Oh, g'day, mate.
We've seen 22 cars so far.
22 cars. But that's an awesome drive up over that Mt Gibbo. Really steep climb up and down, like up at both sides. Awesome climb, awesome views. After we came down off that Mt Gibbo, we came along here. We've now turned onto Pheasant Creek track. We've just stopped here to relax for a minute. This is definitely a lesser used track, this one. It has had vehicles on it this weekend, but quite a few trees across the road that people have sawed off or gone around. So peaceful out here. But yeah, we're heading along this Pheasant Creek road. It's nothing too hard so far. We're hopefully going to try and find a camp along it somewhere. It comes to a creek down the bottom. We may get lucky. There may be a spot down there. I don't know. I've never been here. We'll see what happens. I might actually get that extra fuel off the roof, that 20 litres, and put it in the car. I don't really calculate exactly how much fuel I need. With the fuel I got in my car, it's an 8 litre tank. My car doesn't use a massive amount of fuel, and then the extra 20 litres, it's always going to be enough. But it is good to have that extra because you can be out in these mountain ranges for a long time, and save you having to make a detour to town. My car's on about 2/3 fuel since I last filled up at wherever that was, back in New South Wales. KHANCOBAN, I don't know. This will put the car up to, not full, but up to not too far off full. Then I got heaps of fuel. One thing I've been doing today is I've had my UHF radio turned on scan, and then that way you know when you're coming up to one of those groups and you can communicate with them or see what they're doing. Just makes it a bit easier to know what's going on around you. I don't need it on any channel to talk to anyone, I'm just out here by myself, but that way you can talk to the other groups and stuff. Alright, we'll keep heading along this Pheasant Creek Road. Pheasant Creek Road ended up being an awesome little track. You know, one of those less used high country tracks, but still got some spectacular views, and it's very steep down into the valley there and very steep up out the other side as well. Once you get down the bottom, you arrive at this nice little creek, and there was even a campsite there for us too. Found a camp spot down the bottom of that Pheasant Creek Road, and guess what? We got the whole place to ourselves. There's no one around here. We haven't seen anyone on this track, and we came down across that creek just up a little hill, and then we got this area here to ourselves. No one around. Perfect. Might go for a swim back in the river, even though the rivers are freezing. But I like to clean up a bit. Might cut up some firewood, get this fire going. It's only about 4 o'clock, so we'll be able to settle in for the night. Should be good. It also shows that even on Easter Saturday, long weekend, still get place to yourself. There's a tree here that's obviously fallen across the track and people have cut off, but there's still a heap of wood on the end of it there. I'm going to chop up with a chainsaw to get the fire going tonight, because there isn't heaps of stuff around, but this will be good.
Wait.
I don't know why these creeks are so cold. Back in summer, like when we were here only 3 months ago, all the creeks are warm. And now Easter they're freezing, they're like ice. Dude, you should have come for a swim, it wasn't even cold. Yeah, it was warm. It was like, you know, that thermal pool at Billy. It was like that.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was so warm.
Oh, wait how I have really good hearing. I hear someone at another creek going like, "Oh, it's so cold," talking to a camera. So weird. I must have really good hearing.
That must have been someone else at another creek.
Yeah, I know. I must have really good hearing.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It must have been like the next mountain range.
Yeah.
We've only had 3 nights in this new swag, but very happy with it so far. I like the design. The mattress is very comfortable and it's easy to set up and pack up, but I'm gonna have to see how it goes in weather, rain, storms, things like that, and see how it goes over time, but initially, loving it.